If the world was normal and there was no COVID, then the Oscars would have been happening today, February 28th, 2021. But because of COVID, a lot has changed, and specifically with the Oscars are now happening in April, and the nominees aren't even announced yet. They'll be announced on March 15th, but since the Oscars were originally going to happen on February 28th, I thought I'd share today my own personal nominees for the Oscars for movies that came out in the US on a theater, streaming service, whatever, from January 2020 to December 2020. Now, a big difference between my own personal nominees and the actual Oscars this year is that the eligibility requirements. So the Oscars have decided to make include films that came out in January and February of 2021. Those are eligible as well for I think for all the award shows actually, not just the Oscars. For me personally, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna stick with 2020 specific films and not include films that came out in January and February 2021. I'm doing that to make things hopefully a little bit less confusing for you guys. And also, before I share my own personal nominations, a quick disclaimer: these are just my opinions. I have not seen every film that came out in 2020, so if there's a performance or a film that you that you think should be nominated, this is my own personal nominations, and maybe a film that you really liked will be nominated at the actual Oscars. Alright, so without further ado, here we go. So, first off, we'll start with Best Visual Effects. So, I have nominated Tenet, The Midnight Sky, The Invisible Man, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the one and only Ivan. I originally included Wonder Woman 1984 on here, but after watching it a second time, the effects really don't hold up. And even the first time, I thought that Cheetah looked really bad. And also, some of you might be thinking, he included Sonic the Hedgehog on here? Why? And I will admit that the effects for Sonic the Hedgehog aren't like amazing or groundbreaking or anything like that, but considering what happened with the original design and then the visual effects artist essentially being forced to rush out, the much better design, I think that it is a massive improvement what we actually got versus that first trailer. And so I included Sonic the Hedgehog on here as a sort of congratulations, commendmanship, whatever, to the visual effects artists and how Paramount essentially forced them to, hurry up and they were probably overworked, and I think that their work really paid off because the new design is so much better, but it's not what I would consider to be the winner. I would personally give the Oscar for Best Visual Effects to Tenet because, I mean, come on, it looked great and it's Christopher Nolan. Alright, moving on to Best Sound Design. Now, just like the Oscars this year, I've decided to combine the sound categories. It used to be sound effects, sound editing, and sound mixing, but just like the Oscars, I decided to mix it. And for me, the best sounding movies, in my opinion, are Soul, Mank, Wolfwalkers, Sound of Metal, and Lovers Rock, which is one of Steve McQueen's Small Axe films on the BBC and Amazon Prime. Now, to many people, especially those in the awards industry, they're considering the Small Axe films to be a miniseries. In fact, the Red, White, and Blue was nominated at the Golden Globes. Me personally, I'm considering them to be just individual films because I just want to. So I think that all these films sound really great, but for me, the film that had the most innovative and creative use of sound was Sound of Metal. Moving on to Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Borat's subsequent movie film, Bill and Ted Face the Music, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Hillbilly Elegy, and Birds of Prey, or Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, or whatever the title is now. Emancipation of that stupid thing. So, me personally, I think that all these films have pretty good makeup, but me personally, I thought that Bill and Ted Face the Music had the best makeup. It's I don't really know how much further to elaborate on that. I just thought that it looked the best, especially Anthony Carrigan in that robot suit, and he was pretty funny in the movie. All right, moving on to best production design, we have Mulan, Mank, Promising Young Woman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and The Personal History of David Copperfield. Mank. I mean, come on, like they did such a good. It's Hollywood, and Mank is probably gonna win at the actual Oscars, but they did a really great job of bringing us back to 1930s, 1940s Hollywood. Best costume design: Emma, Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mulan, and my personal favorite costumes of the year: The Personal History of David Copperfield. Best film editing. Now I included a film on here that technically didn't even come out in 2020, but I was able to see it via an early screener. So this probably isn't going to be eligible at the actual Oscars. Maybe next year if it comes out in the U.S. I have no idea when it's going to come out in the U.S., but I was able to get access to an early screener. So, and I thought that the editing in La Belle Epoque, I definitely pronounced that wrong. Sorry, but I thought that the editing in that film was really cool and helped with the pacing of the film. So yeah, I'm including on here La Belle Epoque, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, The Trial of the Chicago Seven, The Father, and Nomadland. The Trial of the Chicago Seven is probably going to win the actual Oscar, but I thought that The Father had the most creative use of editing out of the films that I decided to nominate. Best Cinematography: First Cow, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, Lover's Rock, Mank, and Nomadland. For me, it's really, really close between Mank and Nomadland. Both films, to me, are the best looking films of the year. I think that Nomadland, if Mank and David Fincher didn't exist, then Nomadland would probably win. And that film looked amazing, and I almost gave the award, my own fictional hypothetical award, to Nomadland, but I decided Mank has just looked so good, so Mank is my personal winner. Best Original Song. Now, with this category, some of my favorite songs of the year actually aren't eligible because they're actually covers. Running with the Wolves from Wolfwalkers is a cover. It's Alright from Soul is a cover. Parting Ways by Cody Chestnut, also from Soul, is not an original song made specifically for that movie. And What a Life by Scarlet Pleasure from Another Round is a song that already existed before the movie. So none of those songs I can actually nominate, but these ones are pretty decent. And actually, a lot of the songs in the Oscar shortlist, with the exception of this one, I actually don't really like many of the songs. Like the song from The Prom, Wear Your Crown, is a little bit too. It sounds a little bit too manufactured for my liking, but the songs I actually decide to nominate are some of the few that I like this year that are actually eligible. Scene from The Life Ahead, Speak Now from One Night in Miami, Rain Song from Minari, Turntables from All In, The Fight for Democracy, and Us Against the Universe from Phineas and Ferb the movie, Candace Against the Universe. Now, I promise that I'm not trying to be intentionally biased here because of my Korean American heritage, but I thought that the best sounding song out of the songs I decided to nominate, is Rain Song from Minari. Best original score. I'm actually really upset at the Golden Globes for not nominating Minari Emile Masseri's score, or even his score from Kajillionaire. He is a fantastic composer, and I really look forward to seeing what else he does. But I'm really annoyed that he didn't nominate that the Golden Globes didn't nominate one of his scores, but I did. Minari by Emil Masseri, First Cow, William Tyler, Tenet, Ludwig Göransson, who did a great job with Mandalorian season 2, by the way, and season 1. Wolf Walkers by Bruno Kulai. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, dude. And Soul by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Now, some of you might be wondering why I didn't nominate Mank, also by Reznor and Ross, or Midnight Sky by Alejandro Desplat, or News of the World by James Newman Howard. Well, I really like the score from Rank and Midnight Sky, but I just like these scores a little bit better. And News of the World I haven't even seen yet, and I don't want to listen to the score before seeing the movie. I don't really like doing that. And but my personal winner would be Soul. Soul was just amazing. Reznor and Ross did a fantastic job, and it's kind of weird seeing the Nine Inch Nails band member working on a Disney Pixar movie. Moving on to Best Documentary Feature, we have Boy State, Crip Camp, The Donut King, Feels Good Man, and Dick Johnson is Dead. I really enjoyed all of these documentaries, but Feels Good Man was my favorite documentary of the year, so of course I have to give it to that one. Best International Feature Film. Now, And Then We Danced was submitted for the Oscars last year, in the same year that Parasite won Best Picture, but I didn't see it until 2020, so I'm personally uh, considering it for eligibility for this. And also, this is not the actual Oscars, it's just my own hypothetical Oscar opinion thing. So, and then I nominated And Then We Danced, Another Round, Collective, Crazy World, and La Belle Epoque. Now, Collective is a documentary, and I almost nominated it for that one, but since not a word in Collective is spoken in English, I decided to submit it for my own hypothetical international feature film. All these films were pretty good. Collective is the only one that I wouldn't consider to be great because I was a bit bored with that film at times. But my favorite foreign language film of the year, international feature film of the year, sorry, Another Round. Another Round was funny, heartbreaking, and also heartwarming at the same time. So moving on to Best Animated Feature Film, Soul, Onward, Wolfwalkers, Shaun the Sheep, Farmageddon, Phineas and Ferb the movie, Candace Against the Universe, Soul. Soul is gonna win. Soul should win in my opinion, even though I love Wolfwalkers. I think Wolfwalkers would win if Soul hadn't come out in 2020. Moving on to Best Adapted Screenplay, we have The Father by Christopher Hampton, I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Charlie Kaufman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom by Ruben Santiago Hudson, Nomadland, Chloe Zhao, and One Night in Miami by Kemp Powers. Nomadland is one of my favorite films of the year. All these films have great writing, but Nomadland, I really liked how real much of the writing felt, and there definitely was some improv done on Nomadland, but I think that Chloe Zhao did a great job with basically everything on this film. And so I would give this award for Best Adapted Screenplay to Nomadland. Moving on to Best Original Screenplay, we have Mank by Jack Fincher, rest in peace, Minari, Lee Isaac Chung, Promising Young Woman, Emerald Fennell, Soul, Pete Docter, Mike Jones, Kemp Powers, and The Trial of Chicago 7 by Aaron Sorkin. I know that I have friends who are big fans of Promising Young Woman, and I think out of all these, that's probably the only film that they saw. I think that my friend Marianne. Oh no, sorry, no, she also saw Mank and Trial of Chicago 7, I think. But I think her favorite film of the year Marianne, who was on my podcast just 2 days ago, would probably give this a promising young woman. And yeah, I thought the writing in that film, dialogue wise, it wasn't revolutionary, but it wasn't, bad. But like story structure wise and how it presented the themes through the story and direction was pretty cool. But you can't beat Aaron Sorkin. You just can't beat Aaron Sorkin. I think that he'll win the actual Oscar and he'll win this one too. Moving on to a category that the Oscars have not even created yet, and it just baffles me that the Oscars have not created a category for best stunt ensemble, and which they really should. And John Wick would win every time. But I nominated for my own category, best stunt ensemble, Birds of Prey, Extraction, Mulan, Tenet, and Wonder Woman 1984. Funny enough, I'm going to give this award to the only film on this list that I actually really disliked and almost hated, which is Extraction. Extraction is a terrible movie, but the stunt choreography and all that on the film was pretty good. And heck, the director, he strapped himself to a car filming that one take car scene. Like he actually was on the hood of another car, and that's pretty impressive. It's a shame though that this awesome stunt choreography couldn't have been in a better movie. Moving on to another category in which the Oscars have not created yet, Best Acting Ensemble. Promising Young Woman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Minari, One Night in Miami, and The Trial of the Chicago 7, which I would give the award to, and it's gonna win the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Acting Ensemble. Trial of Chicago 7, I think it will. Moving on to yet another category that I created specifically for this video, Best Voice Acting Performance. Jamie Foxx in Soul, Graham Norton in Soul, Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Onward, Eva Whittaker for Wolfwalkers, and Honor Neepsey, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, in Wolfwalkers. Now, I thought that Graham Norton was absolutely hilarious in Soul and is probably the best voice actor. They did the best performance, or at least the most exciting and noticeable performance out of everyone in that movie. Soul specifically, but I was most impressed by Honor Neepsey, who played Robin in Wolfwalkers. I thought that she did a really great job, and everyone in Wolfwalkers did a really great job with their voice acting as well, but I would give the award to Honor Neepsey. Moving on to Best Young Actor or Actress, yet again another category that I created. I really liked Ella J. Basco in Birds of Prey and Romana Edith Williams in St. Francis, but I nominated Alan S. Kim from Minari, Noel Kate Joe in Minari, Kenyon Sandy in Education, the Small Axe film, Ibrahima Gueye in The Life Ahead, and Millie Bobby Brown from Enola Holmes. I almost gave the award to Alan Kim, but I think my logic there was a bit biased because, he's Korean American, I'm Korean American. But I think that the best child actor from 2020 is Ibrahima Gueye from The Life Ahead, so he's the winner. We'll get back to categories from the actual Oscars soon, but first I want to acknowledge some really good performances from comedies this year, as well as comedy films specifically. So next up is Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Film, and the nominees are Dylan Galuya from Shithouse, Mary Holland from Happiest Season, Molly Gordon from The Broken Hearts Gallery, Bridget Lundy Payne from Bill and Ted Face the Music, and Tilda Swinton from The Personal History of David Copperfield. I think that all these people are absolutely amazing, but I would personally give it to Bridget Lundy Payne from Bill and Ted Face the Music. Moving on to Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Film, Bill Nye from Emma, Kyle Marvin from The Climb, Dan Levy from Happiest Season, Peter Capaldi from The Personal History of David Copperfield. I almost nominated Hugh Laurie on here, but Capaldi was just so great. And my personal favorite, Bill Burr from The King of Staten Island. Best Actress in a Comedy Film, Anya Taylor-Joy from Emma, Natalia Dyer from Yes, God, Yes, Kristen Milioti from Palm Springs, who is the reason why I decided to acknowledge comedy films in my own personal Oscar nominees in the first place, because the Golden Globes didn't nominate Kristen, and just such a what the biggest snub besides not nominating Minari for anything besides foreign film, which is just ridiculous. It's not a foreign film; it's an American film that just happens to speak Korean. Anyway, Kristen Milioti from Palm Springs, Maria Bakalova from Borat's subsequent movie film, and Geraldine Viswanathan from the Broken Hearts Gallery. You can't beat Maria. I love Kristen, but you just can't beat Maria. And Anya Taylor-Joy, I love her, and not really so much in Emma, but The Queen's Gambit. But Maria, she has to be the winner. What she did in Borat 2, just oh man. Best Actor in a Comedy Film, Andy Samberg in Palm Springs, Mads Mikkelsen in Another Round, Michael Angelo Covino from The Climb, Sacha Baron Cohen from Borat's subsequent movie film, and Dev Patel from The Personal History of David Copperfield. I decided to cheat on this one a little bit because with the previous categories, I gave it mostly to who I thought was the funniest in said movie, but here I'm going to give it to the actor who I think delivered the best performance, which is Mads Mikkelsen in Another Round, who I thought should have been nominated to Golden Globes also. And Best Comedy Film, Emma, The Climb, Palm Springs, Borat's subsequent movie film, and my personal favorite comedy film of the year, although this isn't technically a comedy film, but I'm giving this the award anyway, Another Round. Best Supporting Actress. Alright, finally we're back to the categories that actually exist at the Oscars. Best Supporting Actress, Maria Bakalova for Borat's subsequent movie film, Ellen Burstyn for Pieces of a Woman, Olivia Colman for The Father, Amanda Seyfried for Mank, Yoon Ye-jung for Minari. I thought that all these actresses did a really great job, and I think Olivia Colman would be the winner in a different year, and I'm surprised the Golden Globes didn't nominate Ellen Burstyn, but oh well. But my personal favorite is also someone who wasn't nominated to Golden Globes, even though she should have, Yoon Ye-jung for Minari. Best Supporting Actor, Yahya Abdul-Mateen for The Trial of Chicago 7, Kingsley Ben-Adir for One Night in Miami, Delroy Lindo, The Five Bloods, Paul Raci, Sound of Metal, and Steven Yeun for Minari. Now, three of the people that I decided to nominate are actually eligible for are in consideration for lead actor, but I personally thought that Steven Yeun, Delroy Lindo, and Kingsley Ben-Adir, their characters were more supporting specifically, so that's why I nominated them for supporting actor. And Delroy, I would give him the award, but I'm honestly upset that he's not being nominated at the Golden Globes, SAGs, or probably not the Oscars either, which annoys me because he delivered one of the best performances in any 2020 film. Moving on to Best Actress, we have Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman, Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, and Elizabeth Moss for Shorely. In the podcast episode that I did 2 days ago, with my friend Mary Ann, she thought, and I kind of agreed that Carey Mulligan probably should win because she hasn't won before, but I really love Frances McDormand, and I would personally give the award to Frances McDormand even though she's won already, but Carey Mulligan was still really good. But this is my video, so Frances McDormand is my personal winner, but nothing against Carey Mulligan because she did a phenomenal job. Best Actor, Leading Actor, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, John Boyega from the Small Axe film Red, White, and Blue, who was nominated at the Golden Globes, Hugh Jackman for Bad Education, who was nominated at the Emmys, but since it's a film, even though it premiered on HBO, I still consider it to be an actual like film, so I'm nominating it here, and he was great. Anthony Hopkins for The Father, and Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal. Now, because of Boseman's unfortunate passing, and since he delivered his career best performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, he'll probably win for that film, and I wouldn't be upset if he did. But I personally thought that Anthony Hopkins' performance in The Father was like 2% better than Boseman's. Although, again, if Boseman wins, I won't be upset. Best Director: Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, Florian Zeller for The Father, Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, and Steve McQueen for the Small Axe film Lover's Rock. I'm sorry, Regina King and David Fincher, that I didn't nominate you guys, but I thought that the directing in these films was a little bit stronger. And I will give the award to Steve McQueen for Lover's Rock. Now, finally, Best Picture. I decided to nominate 10 films, which the Academy used to do, but now they just nominate 8 or 9, and I'm just like, why? I nominated 10 films: Soul, Minari, First Cow, The Father, Nomadland, Palm Springs, Another Round, Sound of Metal, And Then We Danced, and the Small Axe film Lover's Rock. I almost gave this award to what I thought was the most impactful films of 2020, which is either Nomadland or Soul. Those are films that I feel like were the most impactful of the year in terms of its reception, but they're not my favorite film of the year, and I decided to kind of cheat a little bit and give this. Well, to many of you, it wouldn't be considered cheating, but usually at the Oscars, they don't give out the award to the actual best film of the year. They just give it to the most impactful or significant film of the year most of the time. But I decided to give it to my actual favorite film of the year, which is the Small Axe film Lover's Rock. I had a great time watching that film, and it did impact me a lot personally. So yeah, those are my own personal Oscar nominees for 2020 films. Did you agree or disagree with anything in this video? Please share in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much. I will be sharing a reaction video on March 15th when the actual Oscar nominees come out, and I will be reacting to the winners as well. So yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.